Everybody who's here today. Oh, okay. You sure you want? Anyway, so I'm Pat Weeks. I'm your 2021 president here at Space Coast Association of Realtors, and thank you everybody for coming. I got to call the meeting to order. I keep forgetting to do that when we have these membership meetings, so I'm calling it to order. Do I need to hit the gavel? Anyway, we're going to start off with the pledge. So if everybody would rise, the flag's over there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, well, today we are very, very honored to have Wayne Justice with us. Now, there are two things that I have in common with him. First off, my husband's name is Wayne, and my husband's retired Coast Guard, and Mr. Justice is also retired Coast Guard. So good man with the name of Wayne. So what can you say? I've been married to my Wayne for almost 42 years. So he retired as a Rear Admiral. He was reelected to the Port Canaveral Commission for another 4-year term that began December 2018. He spent 2018 as the chairman, 2019 and 2020 as vice chairman, and currently again as chairman, which he does a fabulous job as. He's a Coast Guard Academy and Naval War College graduate. He spent 37 years in the Coast Guard. My husband only did 20. And with 15 of those assigned in Florida. Justice has 12 years on cutters, 8 of those spent in command specializing in counter-drug, illegal migrant, and search and rescue patrols. He also spent 3 years as a military aide to Presidents Bush and Clinton in charge of the nuclear codes. Now there's a job for you. He retired as a Rear 2-star Admiral. Admiral Justice currently is a maritime consultant and community volunteer. So let's give him a warm welcome.
All right, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, thanks.
Good morning.
Somebody Zoomed me. Okay, let me just check something going on here. All right, thanks for the chance to come out. It's great to be here in person again. It's been a long 18 months, as we know, since this whole thing started, and now it's on its way over. Just to get going here, for those of you who don't know me, I know quite a few of you here, but I always put a couple slides in about who I am, and I'll start with and this on. There we go. Okay, I got it. I think I got it. Don't have it. No. Got it on. Okay, ship guy. A lot of time at sea, particularly off the coast, off of Florida and the Caribbean, and it was wonderful duty. My last ship was out of San Francisco, and we had a lot of significant drug seizures out there. Here's 9 tons of cocaine, 9 tons of cocaine, one place at one time. It's a lot of cocaine. And as mentioned, I did have the extraordinary honor of working in the White House, President Bush and Clinton. But we're here to talk about Port Canaveral. It is wonderful to be here with good news. Okay, it's been a while since we've had good news at the port. But we do. Just to remind everybody, in addition to our typical port business, we also share the port with the Navy, and intercontinental ballistic missiles ships are there, and we had a chance to christen one of them year and a half ago. And they go offshore and do this. So that's happening up at the port as well. And that business is not going away. There's thousands of people that work for No2. Reminder, the port, just a little bit of points on the background. We're elected, which is not usual. There's 13 ports in the state. About half of them have elected officials. The rest are appointed or county, that sort of thing. We're a landlord port. We've got 1,000 dry acres that we're landlords of. So all the property, of course, is leased from us. Most importantly, that last bullet there, and this came up, as you can imagine, in the last, except for, well, let's say the last 16 months, our revenues went from $9 million a month to $2 million a month. Okay, so $7 million of revenue was lost for 15 months. And certainly, if we weren't in a strong financial position, we would have had to resort to, being able to use our taxing authority, which, that's northern half of the county. Those 6 cities are in the port districts, and we are able to tax. But the good news is we didn't, and we didn't have to. We just drew all our savings down and prayed, and a lot of other things like that. But it worked out. So we didn't tax, and we're not going to tax, and that's good news. When we're up and running, billions of dollars roll through impact, rolls through Port Canaveral into Central Florida. Thousands and thousands of jobs locally and, of course, in the region. COVID hit, and there goes a whole lot of jobs, a lot of revenues, tax revenues, et cetera. What do we do? We did like everybody else did. We had to cut our costs. You got to cut your costs. We laid off half our staff, 100 people, 100 plus people went home. Stopped our capital projects. I'll talk more about that, but we put tens of millions of dollars, of course, into this region through our own capital projects that we fund with our revenues at the port. That's all we do with our money is put it back in. We didn't have any money to put into capital projects, so that stopped. And there. All right, but the good news is we're back. And we'll talk about all the positive things that are happening. Just to remember to look, those of you who know the port, if you don't, very well. North side's cargo and cruise. On the south side, we've got restaurants and boat places and parks and all of that stuff that makes us absolutely as unique a port as there is in our state. We have more recreational area on Port Canaveral between Jetty Park and all the other stuff. We have recreational stuff there than all the other ports in the state of Florida combined. Okay, so it's a unique situation up there. Obviously, it becomes a significant security challenge because we have such an open port, but it's also wonderful for the people who live here and for the tourists who come here, and they're back. Again, as I think I show you this slide every year, but we're all about, we're a port, and that means deep water bulkheads. Okay, it talks about the ability to get big ships, deep water ships in and out of our port. That's our main concern. Everything else really is ancillary to that, though we also have to pay attention to it. Terminal 1, as you know, was 5 years ago, up and running, and we have the largest cruise ship in the world comes in and ties up at that port, at that terminal, Terminal 1. In 2019, with Carnival, we turned dirt, you all remember, and we went on and spent a year and we built brand new Terminal 3, and then COVID hit. So Terminal 3, and I've got pictures here of how nice it is, sat empty for a year, literally. But now, really good news is that, and this is on the ship under construction, but I think as you probably all saw on the news, the Mardi Gras is here. It ties up every Saturday morning. Right now they're at 80% capacity. They've got 5,000 plus people getting on, getting off every Saturday. And it's really exciting. This is this was given the key to Terminal 3 to the CEO of Carnival. She was happy to get it, and she brought her ships here, and it's got this cool roller coaster on it, and that's just one of the ships. A very special point, and I want to drive this home again, is that ship is powered by liquefied natural gas, LNG. Okay, it's the first cruise ship in the United States. We are the first port in the United States that provides liquefied natural gas to a cruise ship. Okay, and that is the future. The future of all new cruise ships being built are going to be powered by LNG, and we're on top of it. This is a picture of, if you ever never seen a ship getting launched, this is what it looks like. They just slide them into the water. This is it's a 300-foot barge that is used, that's what we use to fuel the Mardi Gras, to fuel that ship. And it's a very special vessel, it's brand new, sophisticated, and as state of the art as there are in the world, literally. That barge and its tug that hooks up with it gets the LNG up in Savannah, Georgia, and then brings it and then ships it down to here, down to our port, and they meet on Saturday mornings and on the outboard side, and they pump the LNG on board. The ship takes 500,000 gallons of LNG. This barge holds 1 million gallons. And I said it's the future. Next summer, they got actually 3 new ships coming, but first one comes next summer, and the next one comes after that. Those ships are LNG powered. So, and again, and I'll make the point also, SpaceX, Blue Origin, they're going to LNG for their rocket propulsion. And so the demand for LNG is going to be here in the region, and we're going to be actually putting a facility in that stores it and distributes it, and it's fuel the future. Again, remember, it's clean, it's cheap, and it's made in the United States. All right, all good things. All right. We had to get this is a special fireboat that if an LNG was to get on fire, it takes a certain type of a chemical to put it out. So we got a new fireboat that does that. One thing we were able to do last summer, the timing just worked out. We had let a contract in February for, actually it started at 35 million. We cut it back to 25 million, $25 million worth of work on the Disney terminal. Okay, that terminal was getting a little long in the tooth. It was years into it. And so, this is what we did with the $25 million. And actually it made it easy to do because there was no ships here. So we got the work done. Most importantly, we made the berth longer because the new ships coming next summer are bigger. The Disney ships are bigger, more passengers, longer. Most of the work right there is we basically added 25+% to the terminal. But the way Disney does things, of course, they do it first, top-notch, first class. The place looks identical like it does. They kept the same theme, the same interior feel. It's just a much bigger, easier, nicer drop-off in the terminal. As well, we had to do some work on Terminal 10 because Disney's going to have to put some time over there as well. This is also shows you the brand new boarding terminal or boarding platform that we have. Now, finally now, Disney was the last one that got one of these. These are about a $6 million boarding, air-conditioned boarding, but it fits any ship. And so that's the nice thing about it. And all of our terminals now have these boarding platforms. And so, as well, Disney is sailing again. They've got one ship and another ship about to go. So they're taking cruise as well. Real exciting, just in the last month, we got a new cruise partner. Okay, the Davina came in. This is MSC. This is Mediterranean Shipping Company, and they're huge. They're a global cargo, but they also have cruise ships. It's a unique. They have a unique business model. I won't get into that too much, but bottom line is they got nice, big, beautiful ships. They're at Mediterranean, meaning they're European themed. That's given the captain a little plaque. That's the inside of just a couple random pictures on the inside. This ship is a very Italian feel to it, and so it's again something different, which is nice to have a new partner here. It's good. This ship can hold 5,000 plus, and they're sailing again at about I think they're about 70% now, but it's here. It's running, and actually this ship goes away in the next couple of months. They're replacing it with a bigger ship. Okay, but there'll be an MSC ship cruising out of Port Canaveral for years, the next few years. So in addition to Norwegian and Royal and Carnival and Disney, we've got MSC. So the budget we just passed last week got more turns planned for this year, scheduled for this year, than we've ever had. Okay, so that's really good news, including port of call ships as well as our home ported ships. I won't belabor all that it's taken, the year plus of work it's taken to get crews back. I will say one of the key things we did, the biggest problem was for the ship's crews were all over the world. I mean, they all come from the Philippines to South America, to Europe, or everywhere, and you got to get them all back and then they need to be vaccinated. So we worked out really well. We stepped up and opened one of our terminals, and we've since vaccinated 10,000 crew members. Okay, 10,000 people from around the world on these cruise ships, the crews got vaccinated here, and that was good, and that got them up and running on top of all the other protocols that are put in place. And I'll leave it here, but I'll say that we've been cruising now with passengers for 6-8 weeks, whatever. We've got 7 ships running, thousands of people coming on and coming off every week, and it's fine. Everybody's fine, And if there is, I mean, we've had a couple of cruises that had a couple of people test positive while they're underway. They quarantine them and they're dealt with, and it just rolls. And it's, again, I'm not sitting here. I don't have to sell you all on cruising, but it's safe, it's back, and it's ready to go. Shifting gears, our cargo. What has stemmed us, what got us through, was our cargo business. That we've actually grown almost all of our lines during the last year and a half because we needed to, and so we did. But from the fuel farm on the top right there, remember that fuel farm, and the other one on the port provides every drop of gas in this county comes through there. Okay, so it's an important link to our region, obviously. Also, all the international flights out of Orlando gets their aviation fuel from that fuel farm. So again, of course, international flights haven't been flying, so that's actually, we lost money in that over the last year. On this lower left-hand side, big business. This has really gotten even bigger than it has been. But our frozen food import and distribution world, all those buildings there are all frozen buildings, frozen food buildings. ASI, Ambassador Services, they've changed owners. They've increased their capacity significantly. They've increased their business significantly, and they bring tons and tons of frozen vegetables into this port, and then they get repackaged and distributed, and it's an ongoing business. Just up from that on the left side there, that ship there, the red ship on the left side, that's our never-ending aggregate business. They bring in little rocks. They go on a big conveyor belt, and they go in a big pile, and they go on a truck. And the trucks go to the I-4 project. And the I-4 project, we've been doing that for 10 years, and we're going to be doing it for 10 more years. Okay, it's wonderful business because that project never ends, and so there's no need to. I mean, so there's plenty of little rocks coming in which we've got. I've got containers and other businesses. I'll talk about some other ones here. That's just that's the oil getting pumped off. Morton salt is going gangbusters. The demand for salt is unbelievable. And this was just yesterday. I mean, that's the biggest pile of salt you're going to see, right, in your life. That was yesterday. They offloaded another big load of salt. Of course, it's getting to be winter time. And this is kind of wouldn't say it's a romantic picture, but it's a sunset picture with a lot of salt, okay? But it's winter time, and the salt gets processed and bagged up and gets shipped out. So there's, it's a lot of salt here. Of course, in addition, we all eat rocks. We all eat sea salt now. So they produce sea salt here for our, I've told this story, but for our use. It's amazing. We've got a large, and we got this a couple years ago, but mobile harbor crane. It's got 102 tires on it. It's the tallest crane like this in the United States. And we have it that tall for a reason, because that's how we get the SpaceX rockets off. Thing's pretty cool, though. It drives around a little joystick. All right, a couple of guys asked this question before. If you've been to the port in the last couple of months or recently, you'll notice these bundles everywhere on the port, and it's lumber. Our lumber import business is 10 times what it was 3 years ago, okay? The lumber comes in from Northern Europe, and the demand is so great that we don't have room to put it. It's everywhere on the port, and it gets shipped out just as fast as it can, so the next ship can come in with more lumber. And I mean, all you got to do, you just drive around lumber everywhere. The demand between here in Jacksonville and here in Orlando and here in Fort Pierce, it's all trucked. It's all trucked to wherever. That's a high view, again, lumber. And so I guess if you're building and selling homes, it's a pretty good thing, right? Be excited in here, come on. It's just a little data point, but we just shake our heads, and that's what's happening. There's some more lumber, and the truck's taking it out. Let me back up for one. Our slag business is also booming. Again, this is a construction issue, okay? That big pile in the middle there, it's slag. Slag is a byproduct of steel production, but we don't make steel in our country, so it's made in other countries. So that byproduct gets brought in here on a big ship, and we take it off and put it in a big pile, and then it gets pulverized on the right-hand side there. It gets made into a fine powder, and then it goes in those big silos there, and the trucks pull up underneath it, fills up, and away they go. And we're sending, I mean, when I was there yesterday, there was 18 trucks lined up, okay? Now, what is the slag used for? It's used for concrete. It's a strengthening thing for concrete. Once again, construction. And the demand for it is, it's like not ending for us, and so which is good for our region. The other thing, one thing that did not change in the last 18 months, it's only gotten unbelievably bigger and better, is the commercial space. We got rockets that go up, and rockets come down and land on barges. The barges come back into our port. Everybody gets to look at them, which is a big deal. Sometimes they barely make it back into the port. Those they don't bring them in at 2 in the afternoon. They bring them in at 2 in the morning, as you can expect. And this is what our mobile harbor crane it does. It takes that rocket and it picks it up and turns it on its side, and it gets away and gets used again. And it's only been getting busier. And here's 2 of them. Both of the barges had the rockets on them, and taking them off. That's what it looks like when it gets lifted up. Of course, again, the other thing that's happened in the last year and a half is the manned landings, right? The manned people inside space cones. It's pretty cool. Those guys they all tie up at the port as well. You can see there's a cone in the back. I got some really this was just happened within the last 2 weeks. And I got a little insider contact for these pictures. But that's the capsule coming in with the 4 people on board, right? And that's what it looked like when it landed, okay? All right, when it landed. And then that's what it looked like when it was getting rigged up to get picked up out of the water. And then that's what it looks like when it gets put on the, I got some Coast Guard buddies that I can reach out to get these pictures. Anyhow, it's just spectacular. And another part of our business, Elon Musk is, I mean, SpaceX, I'm not going to, they are just, you know, they're so far ahead of everybody else. They're not slowing down. They're expanding. They just got, if you look closely, you can see the name Doug and Bob, right? They've got Doug and Bob are here now. These are much bigger versions of that vessel. Okay, these are bigger versions that they're going to use to pick up both capsules, but they also pick up the fairings off the top that they pick up, reuse, and they've got this cycle going, and they're using rockets 9 and 10 times. They're really going gangbusters. As well, though, as you all know, more is happening. Okay. Okay. As we know, and in fact, it was supposed to happen yesterday, but Blue Origin is supposed to take William Shatner up right down to Texas. And you know, Blue Origin is coming in next year with their rocket, and their rocket is one of the ones on the right. Okay, the New Glenn rocket. It's twice as big as the Falcon 9. Huge rocket that also is going to land on a ship and be reused. So in the last 2 years, we've had to get ahead of them. And so we found an area of the port, and we've made it into a container or a commercial pier. It's got reinforced asphalt that can take big loads off of ships, and so we're ready for Blue Origin. And it's a 700-foot ship that rocket's going to land on and come in and that sort of thing. So, and of course, as we know, that all the satellite production and all the stuff's going on in this region. It's unbelievable, the opportunity and the expansion, particularly through commercial space. And we are, of course, absolutely committed to matching the capability that we have at the port with the requirements that these guys have. It's all about requirements and capabilities. That's what we're working on. But it's really good. Okay. So looking ahead, there's significant technologies that have, with the new terminals, is kind of nice. Anybody starts going cruising again, it's all about facial recognition now. Okay, Carnival and Royal is going to do that. Everybody's going to do it a little differently, but they're going to take your picture of your face when you cruise, and that's the last thing you're going to have to do till you get off the ship. It's pretty spectacular. Of course, we got to mention down at the bottom there, Rhodes Bridges. There's a significant transportation infrastructure issue in our county that has to be addressed, and we're intimately part of the whole construct. Okay, I mean 528, it's got to get, and it's scheduled to be, has to be widened. The bridges have to be, better, et cetera, et cetera. All that's coming, and we've got part of it as well on the port. So we work with all these people intimately all the time. From our perspective, we need that the drawbridge on the north side's got to go. It's old. It's a single point of failure for the whole north side of the pier plus the Air Force Station. That thing's going to get either made higher or it's going to be an overpass, but that's going to happen along with the 528 widening and construction. Labor these. One thing, what we just did let a contract on, though, if you're at Fish Lips, you're looking straight across and you see that cement there, just to the right of that whole terminal, that whole pier is going to be redone. It's about a 30, let me see, 3 weeks ago, it was a $40 million job. 2 weeks ago at our meeting, it became a $50 million job. Why is that? Because the price of steel has gone up. How much? Somebody can tell me. I don't know the exact number, but all I know is that it added $10 million to this job. And we're like, whoa. So we weren't going to do it. We had the contract ready to go with Rush Construction. We weren't going to do it. It's $10 million. Well, it turns out the state stepped in, our governor stepped in really, and has set some COVID, engineering, transportation, infrastructure money, promised us a $10 million, and so we let the contract. So that's good news. So that's the one capital project we're going to do this year is work on the north side on that corner there to get some more cargo area. This is a busy slide. Only thing I just want to underscore and make a point, and please appreciate. The bottom line is that lower right-hand corner, it says 90 million. That's what we've averaged over the last 8 years. That's how much money we put back into the port. Okay, it's with construction money, projects. So and that just builds the infrastructure and makes things get better. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about, but I think it's pretty good news. Our last meeting, we also, that little orange corner over there, that's where the aquarium is going to go. Okay, all right. And here's the blow up of it. You can see where we enter the port there, George King. It's going to be on the river side. Now these slides, the next couple of slides, are stolen from my good friend Keith Winston. Okay, and these are artist renditions. This is my, I don't 5 years from now, I don't want anybody coming back and saying, look at that, what happened to this? but this is, we're really excited. Educational, research and development, and a tourist piece. And I tell you what, we all know our people at our zoo here, and they do a great job. And this is going to be a great piece. This is what it might look like on the inside. Okay. This is one more what it might look like from the outside, but we're excited. This is and they're not, the numbers they gave us was it's an $85 million build. They've got $30 million so far, and they're into the fundraising mode. So that's coming. Pretty exciting. Okay, again, and I always close with a slide, but we're all about the port, we're about the port district, we're about the county, we're about the region. We're also a national asset. Ports are national defense pieces and important to our economy, important to everybody's livelihood. So we try to keep all that perspective as we work with our partners. That's a rocket launch from the exploration tower, and I will say thank you for the chance to talk. I absolutely would love to take questions if you got whatever time you've got. So.
Yeah, if you have questions, go to the podium, or if you have questions online. Unfortunately, I can't see you to see. Is there a chat room online, Lindsay? Yeah. So type your question in the chat room if you have a question online.
When is the 528 widening going to start?
Oh, in fact, FDOT, as we speak, FDOT is having public meetings about A1A in the northern half of the northern part of Cape Canaveral, right leading up to the port, that section right there. And so they're having the public meetings on that now. In the meantime, it's within a year, I gotta be careful. I don't want to get ahead of FDOT. We're intimately working with them, and there's studies, there's some environmental. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but the urgency is, we agree with the county. Anybody who's on a TPO in here, we're all in the same direction. It's got to get done. It's got to get started. Got to get done. Time to study, time to is over. Anybody who drives on 528, and he knows what I'm talking about. It's really It's come as safety. It's safety, not just transportation. The legend.
The legend, somebody. So I haven't really, I missed about 5 minutes because I thought you were starting at noon. So sorry about that. But was there any talk about what's going on off the coast, if anything? I know we're having problems on the West Coast getting any cargo in. Anything going on in our area?
No, I mean, not that affects us. Okay, good question. That supply chain challenge is really containers. It's a container issue, and it's a container issue in Los Angeles, particularly LA, Long Beach. We don't have that problem here. That's not to say, though, that there's not supply chain challenges with containers on the East Coast as well. I mean, I don't want to get into this too much, but the way it works is like containers come in and they get trained. I mean, most of the containers you get in Orlando comes in Long Beach. Okay, that's how it works. I mean, everything comes in Long Beach, comes all the way across the country, ends up in Orlando, and then somehow those containers gotta get back. And that's another challenge. And they need the truckers, and like we get into a very complicated situation we have right now. I know, by the way, gas has gone up how much more? Okay, get into that. Please. Questions? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, good.
As realtors, we're always kind of putting out statistics to our new buyers from out of the country or out of the, out of the county or the area. And I know for a long time, I've said that we were the second largest cruise port in the world. Is that true?
Yes.
That's the right statistic, and we still are.
Yes. Yeah, that's still the case. Miami's number one. We're number two. Lauderdale's number three. But yeah, just for context, if there's 26 million people, this is 2019, at the last full year of before COVID. 26 million people cruise. 15 million of them come out of Miami, Lauderdale, and us, and we're all within a few thousand of each other. So it's really, Miami's got 5 million, we got 4,800,000, and you know what I mean. And Lauderdale's got 4,500. You know what I mean, 4,500,000. So that's the context of the whole thing. By far, South Florida, our three ports are the whole world's worth of cruising, literally.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So it's exciting. It's good. I mean, we're always it's competition. We'll see. We've got bigger ships, and the ships are bigger and more people. And right now, what also has changed, what's helping us, because we're a drive market. The one thing that it's what makes Port Canaveral as good as it is that we attract a whole lot of people driving, because people aren't flying now, particularly. The challenge of the flying between everything, COVID and everything else going on, we don't have that problem. So it affects Miami and Lauderdale before it affects us, because people drive to cruise out of here. So it's good news.
Hi, Wayne. Are there any new negotiations or anything in the works as far as cargo, more cargo coming in, either container lines or rover vessels?
Again, our cargo is strong across the board, but we're not. It's not in containers. We're not a container. We're not. We're just the way containers get distributed doesn't work for us. I mean, we don't have a railhead. We're not going to have a railhead. And so if it's just regional trucking, we're just like Charleston, really. I mean, the regional trucking sort of thing. Our strengths, again, it's the bulk stuff, the break bulk stuff. The fuel and all those big those items that we bring in. The cars, we were into cars for a while. That's gone away because the whole problem with cars is gone. There are no new cars. Okay, you start with so nobody's going to import them because we don't have them. But our other stuff is as I said before, it's bigger than ever and growing, and we're on top of it.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Doug and Bob are new ships who pick up capsules. And okay, it was the word is fairing, Fairing, I think how you spell it. It's the plastic two pieces that sit on top of the Falcon 9 rocket that once they get out of space, both of those things break off and they fall down parachutes come out and they land in the water, and then they get picked up by those by the ships, by the SpaceX ships, because they use those things again. Those things cost about $3 million, so they save them and use them again. Please. Yeah. Go ahead.
The question is, what is the timeline on the aquarium? People at home can't hear you if you don't go to the microphone.
It's, and again, I'm speaking for the zoo. I mean, they're going to officially start their fundraising. It's going to take them years, couple years at least, to get to the thing. So we're looking at 3 years groundbreaking. It would be that's kind of the number. That's what we're using. Could be less, could be more. Hope it's less. I mean, from our perspective, we were just putting in roads and parking and the lights and that kind of stuff. So that part's easy. Yeah. It's just that getting the money to do the capital work. And again, I mean, those people, they're going to do it. I know this county is going to do it. So we got great support from in Tallahassee too.
If you're thinking maybe about 3 years for groundbreaking for the aquarium, and
But
then
again, don't hold me to this.
No, right.
I
And
really
then
don't want to.
approximately maybe another 2 years for it to be completed? Are we,
Yeah,
again, roughly
yeah.
about a 5-year plan?
Yeah.
What is something that we could do to help speed it along?
I don't want. I would ask you to ask them. I mean, you go to their website, the zoo's website, and they have a whole aquarium thing on there, and it tells you how you can help and what you can do. And I want to keep them in that, and that's their world. We got plenty to worry about beside the fish. And that's yeah. Okay. Please.
Well, I understand that Robin Hathaway is not going to be running for reelection because she's running for Congress. Are there any other seats coming open and for the port or?
Yeah. Yeah, she's running for a House seat up in Titusville. So what the seat that's open, something there's nobody's running for yet is the Rockledge Cocoa. Okay, the Rockledge Cocoa seat is open next fall. And so I've had a couple different people ask me about it, but nobody's signed up yet to run. With that, again, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure. Good to see you in the back, Mitch.
Thank you so much, Mr. Justice. We appreciate it very, very much, and a lot of great information and a lot of great information for us to share with our customers too, isn't it? That's why I love coming to these things, because you always learn so much, and then we are full of information for our folks. Okay, if no other questions or anything, then the meeting is adjourned. Help yourselves. There's more food out there. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it very much.